Hello. This is my first ever video about books and reading and everything in between. So if this seems a little bit scattered, I apologise. I am very new to this. I'm talking to myself right now. It feels very weird. This may not ever see the light of day, but that's okay because it's for me. You can probably hear how my voice sounds very clearly. I am sick. Oh, I'm profesh. I know what the is going on. Oh, can I swear? I don't know if I can swear. Sorry about that. I said I know what's going on. Okay, welcome to books. I don't know what to call this yet. I'm thinking of doing like 24 books that I read in 2024, but it's April. It's almost May 2025, so a little bit late. Ew! Okay. These are my bookshelves. They're really cute. Let me know in the comments below if you want a like book tour, I guess, like a library tour. So 2024, it was like the year of the books. It was the year of ACOTAR, really. Like, let's be so for real. Like in the book talk world, 2024 was the year for books. And I am doing my best to carry that through to 2025 because when I was a child, I loved books, okay? I read books like crazy. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a 2024 in books, like what I read in books from Goodreads. Slay. If I have the video, I'll like put it here or whatever YouTubers do. Slay. 2024, I read 46 books. Thank you, thank you. Okay, shortest book I read was 187 pages, which was this book. Now, the girlies that get it, get it. Carissa Broadbent, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I love your books. These books are just, they're so good. So this is the novella, I believe. Yep, novella. Look at me get my terminology right. And I was actually really keen because I thought it was a fair bit of book, but this book is actually really interesting in terms of its print because it was 187 pages, but the actual book, like the actual novella, is only 155 pages, and then the rest of the print is like an excerpt from her first book for this series, which is this book, Serpent and the Wings of the Night, which is the first book in the series. So it's actually got the excerpt at the end of that, which I'm not going to say I was disappointed because the novella was perfect, but I thought I was going to get so much more of like the love story, but it's okay. I was fed, she ate. My longest book I read was 984 pages, according to Goodreads. And that was this book, My Love. We're going to dive into this series later. We're just giving a rundown. We're just giving a rundown. Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue. Goodreads says that this book is 984 pages. Physically, the book is 980. Big difference. Anyway, I don't know what to talk about, so I'm just giving you specifics. But this series, we're going to dive into this series a little bit later. If you're interested in only talking about Throne of Glass, I will put the time here for you to skip to. Hope you stay, but I totally understand if you go because this series, man. Anyway, back to 2024 in books. So yeah, right now I'm literally using a book and a mouse to look at my computer to see my reading challenge. I'm going to go through my favorites, my highly recommends. This is the first book I read in 2024. I picked up this book end of 2023, I think, and it took me a month to read this. Not like reading daily, but like I picked it up and then I put it down for 3 weeks. And then I picked it up and put it down for another week. And then my sister picked it up and finished it in like 2 days and was like, you need to read this. Why? I don't understand how you haven't like ate this shit up. And it was because I hadn't got to the party scene. Is it the party scene, or like they're in the laundry or something? If you've read it, you know that scene. And then, because at first I was like, why do I want to know about a woman's 7 husbands? I don't want to know about your husbands. But then I figure out why we want to know about our husbands. And then I ate this shit up and I was like, okay, slay. That was a great book. I highly recommend this for people who are like wanting to get into reading, because I feel like it kind of covers a little bit of everything. The girlies that get it. It's like, you've got romance, you've got like mystery, and then at the same time you're trying to figure out whether or not you think Evelyn's a good person or not. Like there's this moral conflict happening, and then you hear the full story and you're angry but you're happy but you're sad, and it's everything all at once. I cried about this book, so that's always a good sign. If there's tears shed, it means it hit its mark. So I recommend this book. Goes without saying. I mean, come on. I read this book. This was the second book I read once I got back into reading last year. And I felt like I was on the edge of a cliff straight away, which is no pun intended, considering the fact that she's on a parapet straight away. Straight away, I'm like, what's this book going to be about? This girl's about to die. Like, she's about to die. There's no other outcome but she's dead. So who is the book about? It hooks you. I was like cheering, like audibly, out loud. My partner was like, what is going on? I was screaming. I was proper cheering. I was like, ah! Like so happy that Violet got her like moment. Okay. I don't know how to do this without giving spoilers, so anyway, these books are so good. There are a lot of mixed reviews about the third book that came out this year, Onyx Storm, and about Iron Flame. Everyone raves about this book. I mean, the people who read these series, like, love this book, but there's a lot of mixed reviews about the next two. I am very much a read for the vibes kind of girl, so I don't really look too deeply into like the literature or how things are written or the wording or it's clunky or it's this. I'm like, I'm here for the vibes. I let the book tell me the story. I don't want to be like figuring it out. Like obviously critical thinking, like you figure things out. It happens, but I don't want to be trying to figure things out. So yeah, when I'm reading, I like the book to tell me. I don't want to figure it out. So if you're like more into really well written and like da 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 da, like I'm not your girl to tell you if it's well written. I don't know how someone defines a book as well written, although there is one book that I could not swallow or fathom that I read last year. And I know a lot of people love these book series and I'm sure they get better, but I there's too many books that I want to read for me to give this series another chance. I might be hurting a lot of feelings here, but the book I read last year that I could not wait for it to be done in I don't want to ever pick up this book ever again or its series. I'm sorry, I wanted to like this book so much, and I'm sure if I read the rest of the series, I would probably enjoy it because I loved like Hunger Games and Divergent and all of those things when I was younger. But I just found reading this really difficult. I found it really cringy. But I can definitely see the appeal. I can definitely understand why people like this story. Like, it just felt very young, which is fair enough. It meets its target audience. It's exactly what it's intended to do. But yeah, not for me. Sorry. Now for the big boys. I loved this series so much. The first one is not my favourite in the series. I did find the first one actually the hardest for me to get through. And it was still a really good book. Like, don't get me wrong. I think there was a part of my soul that knew about one of the characters that we like. If you've read it, you get it. Read it. Whatever judgments you have, hold out. I know I just said I wouldn't do that for Shatter Me, But whatever judgments you have about cringiness or anything, everything has its purpose in a Sarah J Maas book. You have to give it a chance and read it. You just finish it. This is what I always say when I have friends who are reading books I recommend. They're like, oh, is this happening? Is that happening? I'm like, let the book tell you. Let it tell you what's going to happen. Let it answer your questions, pretty much. Because, and don't get me wrong, some books don't answer your questions, but that's okay. That's a part of the process. That's a part of the joy that is reading. So once upon a time, A Court of Wings and Ruin was my favourite book in the ACOTAR series, just because I love the story, like the storyline coming together, Feyre and Rhys coming together. I love it, but this book is everything. It is, and I think maybe that's partly like the satisfaction of everything coming together, like everything that's happened in the first two books really coming to fruition, but this book, also the way this book starts, yeah, it just is so good. It is so good. I just love it so much. I honestly don't have a single critique, I don't think. Also, I did read these a year ago, so it's not fresh for me to have a critique, but I just love these books. One of the other books that I read last year was this book. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, this was Ali Hazelwood's first dive into something fantasy. So like vampires, werewolves, that kind of stuff. This book's spicy genre is a specific genre. I don't know if it's for me, but take out that one aspect, I ate this book up, okay? The sarcasm, the wit, the like to and fro between them, it is perfect, okay? And also the mystery in the storyline was really good. I mean, obviously there are books that have mystery 1,000 times better, and those are what those authors specialize in, but this book it was just great. There was a great little balance. It's like a perfect little, I call these kind of like size books like a pocket read. Like I read this genuinely in like a day or two. It's just really fun. You could just sit down and have a giggle. There's a little bit of romance, a little bit of mystery and thrill. Like it's exactly what you want out of a book like this. So Ali nailed it. The spice is, you know, for certain people, they love it. Certain people, not so much. I'm somewhere in the middle. I just look past it. Everything else is great. So here it is. Here we go. Talking about my one true love, Throne of Glass. I should probably show you like that because it's Throne of Glass. I'm going to probably get a little bit of backlash from my millions of viewers about the fact that I read Assassin's Blade first. When I first read this, and I do kind of stay true to this now, I believe reading Assassin's Blade first is really important. I do understand now, with a little bit more time to let the storyline sink in, why people say to read it in a different order. I definitely think follow your gut. I personally feel like reading it first made me appreciate what was happening here, who was in this book a lot more, and I felt like I understood Selena a lot better because I read this first. But people are right. You can read Assassin's Blade. I think it's like first, second, third, or fourth. Regardless, you have to read it before Queen of Shadow, which is the fourth book in the series, if you don't count this as book 1 or 2 or whatever. So this is technically book 1, and this is a 5 novellas in 1 book kind of situation, but I call this book 1. Sorry to everybody out there. This is obviously book 1 because Throne of Glass is the name of the series. But this series had me hooked. I cannot even begin to explain to you how amazing this series is. Okay, once again, there are critiques for everything. If you are here for a fun story, a fun vibe, there is not a sickening amount of romance for those who don't like romance, and there is not over complex fantasy. There is like, obviously you still need to read it and understand and learn about the world that they're describing to you, but it's not a really complex fantasy world. It's just smooth reading to me, and it's exciting. Like, there is a lot that goes on in this series. I can't even begin to talk about how much I loved Crown of Midnight. I was genuinely scared reading this book. I was on the couch reading this with my partner, and let's just say she was concerned for me. I was squealing, I was scared, and all I'm gonna say is Sarah J Maas in a library, okay? Sarah J Maas must have something against libraries, because the scariest shit goes down in a library in every single one of her books. I swear. It's a rite of passage, I guess, with Sarah. Heir of Fire. This book is, I think, where you get tested as a loyal reader. Only because this is the first book that you get introduced to having different perspectives, like chapters in different people's perspectives, and not just of the one storyline. Like, you get introduced to a storyline happening in a completely separate place, different things, new things all together, like completely separate. And it can be a little bit hard to keep with. This book, I think I did take a little bit longer to read this book against the first three. Yeah, against those three. These three took me about 3 days each. I think this one took me closer to 5 days, maybe 6. And that's with me like coming home from work and just getting straight into reading, because grit, man, like seriously. So it can be a little bit slow when you're learning the new characters and all of that kind of stuff at the start. But when you get to the end, it is first of all so worth hanging on for. It's so uplifting, it's so empowering, and honestly, it just hits you right in the feels. All those little like 5-page chapters that you feel like are nothing chapters and you're like, what was the point of that? It all comes together at the end, and it's just like gut-wrenching, and it's like makes you so happy and like, oh my god, what's next? And what's next? But Queen of Shadows. I feel like I'm in a constant tug of war about what my favourite book is out of this series, and Queen of Shadows is so good. It is so good. Everyone from Heir of Fire is still in this book, so everything stays relevant. All the storylines converge and separate, and everything's happening. It is seriously a masterpiece. It is such an enjoyable read. People that you haven't heard from since this book are in this book. The ending of that book rips your heart out, but in like a oof, not like a I'm gonna stop and cry. And then we move on to the tandem read. Yes, you heard me, folks. The tandem read, and those who know obviously already know, and if you're watching this, you're probably already a part of the book world, so you already have heard about a tandem read with these books. A lot of people tell me, is it necessary? They're such thick books, like who wants to read a book that big? I cannot explain to you how important it is to read these in tandem, if for not the storyline and your own sanity by the end of these books, for the comedic value. There are so many points in this book that going from book to book and having like that comedic timing of the whoever did these chapter, whoever sorted this out for us, you're amazing, because it seriously just hit. It was so good. It did take me longer to get through it because it can be daunting to pick up 2 books of this size and have to like keep jumping between them. It is so worth it. If you were reading Throne of Glass when these books came out, I am sorry, because if you had to read this book, wait a year to get this book, and wait another year before you got Kingdom of Ash, I will pay for your therapy, because the ending of this book, I cannot fathom having read this book, waiting to know what happens to get this book, because might I just say, try not to give spoilers here, these books are two different locations on the exact same timeline. Okay, so different people are like the main characters of these books. It's happening at the same time in different places. So when you finish this book, when you pick up this book, you're not going to find out anything else about these people or what's going on here. So reading them in tandem is the only way, in my opinion, to keep your sanity and keep you in check, because otherwise you're going to go mad. There is a bomb drop at the end of this book that correlates with the end of this book, which brings me to this book, because when I got to this book, I had just finished those. I read this book, almost 1,000 pages, in 4 days. I do not recommend that to anybody, purely because I wish I savored it longer. It was such a good book. I can't even articulate how well the story gets brought together. Yes, there are a few strings from the first books that don't really get tied off well. They maybe were a little bit rushed, but they weren't important strings. All of the important strings really come together and you cry. I won't lie to you. You will cry. It will break your fucking heart. Ooh, I can't swear. It will break your heart. I'm gonna have to bleep that. It will break your heart. It is, if my excitement talking about these isn't enough, like, if I was told, like, you lost all memories, these were the books you loved, and was shown this video, like, I would pick this series to read again. Because these books! So, this book here, Quicksilver. I have the Amazon copy, which is, if you have an Amazon book versus, like, a Big W book, then you know what these pages feel like, and it's, like, heavy, right? So this was almost, like, hurt my eyes to read. This book... I hate his name. I hated it. And by the end, I am like, Kingfisher, Kingfisher. It seriously is like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's heaven on a platter. It's an amazing book. The storyline, I just spat everywhere. The storyline, chef's kiss, okay? It is just, it's incredible. I love it. The storyline, the characters, the romance, the spice, okay? The fantasy world, like everything about it was just so well done. I am really excited for the second book. I'm really keen to see where it goes. I'm keen to see what happens. Just all of it. All of it. Yeah. If you don't want to get into like a really big like Throne of Glass series, I recommend it. But if you're not ready to take on an 8-book series like that, this is one book. It's a big book. That's okay. You can take 3 months to read it for all I care. But if you are wanting to get into fantasy and spice, this is a little bit off the deep end. It's worth it. This or Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing is probably a little bit more palatable, might be the best word to say. It's a little bit less fantasy than this book. It's a lot more, like, you can kind of attribute a little bit more to real life in that book. But this, you know, Fourth Wing though. But this, so good. Okay, when I saw that they announced Sydney Sweeney and Amanda for this movie, I squealed. They could not have done a better casting in my eyes. It's going to turn out amazing. Read it before you see the movie. And once again, I'm not a big critiquer on whether or not the thrill was good and if it was easy to figure out the twist, and I don't care, let the book tell me. But this book was like sickening in like the best way. Frida books, okay? She might pump them out fast. There might be a few that fall flat. They're still riveting. If you get to the end of a Frida book and you're not happy with the plot, just look at how fast you wanted to get there. Do you know what I mean? Because even sometimes the twist is a bit like, oh, I could have guessed that. Like, I did kind of guess that. You were still sitting there on the edge of your seat trying to find out. You still wanted to know. You didn't just go, oh, I know it, and like not want to read it anymore. You still wanted to know. But anyway, the Housemaid series, I love. A lot of people say that the third book isn't worth it. It is. I really enjoyed it. The novella, not worth it. Sorry, Frida. The novella was cute. It wasn't necessary. But that's okay. But that's okay because everything else is great. This has to be one of my favourite plot twists of Frida's, okay? This plot twist was sickening and I loved it. I also really like her book, The Teacher. That was a different kind of twist to me. That was like good. I really like The Teacher. But this book, I honestly, it's like a slap in the face, to be quite frank. When you read like one of the twists towards the end, you're like, oh my God, it was in front of my face the whole time. How dumb can you be? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Talking to myself, but read it. Read it. I just realized that I haven't shown any of like the romance books I read. This book is once again what I call a pocket read. A lot of romance books. This is a thicker one actually, so maybe like more than a pocket read. A pocket read is like a day or two, you know, if you sit down to read it. It's just perfect. It hits every mark. It's romantic, it's spicy, and it's like, it's not too fast. Like there's a slow burn, but the chemistry is there. You feel it. You want to know what's going to happen. There's not like this like ongoing like blah blah blah, like, oh, can we get there already? Like you get that that little tang straight away. It's great. Okay, that's all I can say. Elsie Silver. This is the only book I've read of the Chestnut Spring series. I have friends in my book club who have finished every single Elsie Silver book and they rave and rave and rave. So with only one book, I love it. So if you want to get into romance reading, these are really good books to get into. Spicy. Not for children. And on the note of spicy, the absolute queen of spice. This book is like 50 Shades of Grey vibes, okay? The spice in this book caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting some of that spice, but slay either way. Very unrealistic stuff happening at the end with like mafia vibes and stuff, but that's what a book is for. Not meant to be realistic, okay? I love Anna's writing. Now, everyone goes on about the Twisted series, but I love her King of series. I've read the most of these out of all of my romance series, which if you can see my shelf here, that's like my romance shelf, and I love her. But I have read the first two of these. I love them. I love them so much. Oh wait, I've read the second one of these as well. Anyway, these are really good. These are really good. They all kind of hit the same markers. Obviously, the romance between the two in each book is different. Like you've got your different tropes, like forced proximity, fake dating, all of that kind of stuff. Jazzy's home. Want to come see your YouTuber girlfriend? Do you want to tell the viewers your favourite book of 2024? You don't have to. I can always cut it out. Make sure you like your angles. I'm happy.
Court of...
I can tell you, yeah. Silver Flame.
Yeah, Silver Flame. No. Silver Flame.
Silver Flame was your favourite?
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Best book of the whole series.
I have a TBR jar where I write down all the books I haven't read on my shelves and I pull out a number and I read it. So at the start of this year, I pulled out Harry Potter series. Now I have had the Harry Potter series on my shelf for a very long time. I have read the first two books over and over and over again when I was younger, but I never got my hands on the other books. So I started reading them. I've read the first 4, I think. I've read the first 4. I have the last 3 to go, and I'm just kind of reading some other books in the meantime. Just read this book for book club. I really enjoyed this book. I was kind of surprised at how much I enjoyed this book. I didn't know I would like it this much. Only because I feel like I've seen a lot of mixed reviews, and everyone says the first book is quite good, but it doesn't keep going that way. but we will see. I've had some good reviews, some not so good reviews, so holding out to make my own opinion. I really enjoyed this book. It was interesting. No spice, which is fine. If you're after spice and romance, this is not like the book for you, but it's still a really good fantasy book. Okay, and my most recent book that I read for book club, Caraval. This book was such a mind game, and it hurt my head, and it's nothing like I've ever read before, and honestly don't know if I want to read anything like it again, but I loved it enough that I'm going to be finishing this series, if that tells you enough. It is complex. You definitely need to be switched on while you're reading it. I actually audiobook this one. I listen to the entire book. Sometimes I do a bit of audio and a bit of physical reading, depending on how, like, what's going on in my life, and like I really want to know what's happening, and if it's free on Spotify Premium. That's about it. So this book is good. I do recommend it, but only if you are into having to think and sort of clue things together, but also don't believe the thing you read in this book. Nothing is true, everything is true. It's two things can be true at once kind of vibe. Everything that happens didn't actually happen. Like, it is a mind game, and it's still happening. I haven't read the other two yet. I'm still in the game, okay? Also, you just lost the game. So, recap for 2024, I read 46 books. Once again, this is the books I read. Now, 2025, I have a goal to read 50 books, which is around 4-ish books a month. So far, I have read 15 books, and I'll put those 15 books here as well. So yeah, comment down below any book reviews or specific books you think I should read in the coming year. I do really want to read Crescent City, which, if you can see behind me, I have the beautiful hard copies, and I'm really excited to read those. So I want to read those at some point this year. My dad also really wants me to read The Magician by Raymond E. Feist. I don't know if anyone has read those. They're a little bit older. They're a little bit more like... Everyone says that he's kind of like the second Tolkien, if you know who Tolkien is. It's Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. I haven't read those books, but I love those movies. So I'm really excited to read The Magician. It is a larger book, and I do think if you're trying to get to like a 50 book or 100 book read for a year, reading smaller books is going to help you reach that goal. But if that goal is not important to you and you just want to read good books, which I'm kind of more inclined towards, then... So, to wrap up today's video, I'm going to show you the book I'm currently reading, which is The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, which is the third book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, but it's the first book in the Shadowborn duet. So, I'm loving it. I'm currently at page 102. And it's good, and I love it, and it's a vibe. So hopefully by the next video I will have finished it. I can give you a bit of a review, and yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my first video about my books. If you have any questions or any videos you would like to see, leave them in the comments and I will respond, because I only have like 2 subscribers anyway. Thank you, bye!